Well, hey everybody, this is Chris from the Arbor Company, and I'm here with a special episode of Senior Living Live, and we are in Cobb County, Georgia, where the Arbor Company is providing dementia training, dementia experience to first responders in the county. I'm joined by Ann Germany, who helped us at Arbor to get it all set up. How you doing, Ann?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's good to be here.
And who's joining us here today?
Today we are so excited to have Deputy Fire Chief Kevin Gross with us, who actually went through the training himself yesterday. Deputy, tell me why you decided to join your team here to do this particular training to learn about dementia awareness.
Well, we have 29 fire stations in Cobb County with over 600 field response people that go on calls, emergency calls. And when the Arbor Company came to us to offer this training, why not? Why wouldn't we take this opportunity to better our people and the people that we serve that possibly have this dementia? So, you know, if my crews are going to go through it, I want to be a part of it to see what they're going through. And I can learn from it, and I'm not running the calls every day, but I do have parents and grandparents that might be suffering from it. If I can learn something to help them, why not?
Thank you so much. We had some amazing feedback the first 2 days of our training. This is day 3 of 5 days of training, and I know that you went through yesterday. Can you tell me what you feel like was one of the most impactful parts of this 2-part training?
Absolutely, Ann. It's coming out here, not sure what to expect, and I heard some good reviews from the firefighters that have been here. So going through it, and when we had the opportunity to go through the hands-on portion, was pretty eye-opening. Just really not understanding the disease and what those patients go through on an everyday basis. To put on the glasses and the gloves and the hearing. Again, very eye-open, very frustrating to see what they're dealing with and how we as a department, as first responders, can help them on their days that they call us to make it easier on them. And when it's easier on the patients, it's easier on us to help transport them and get them the help that is needed for them.
Well, we really appreciate Cobb County and all of its civic leaders. We have senators here who are going through this training, as well as we have commissioners, and we also have everybody from the top of the fire department down to the crews themselves, and the enthusiasm has just been overwhelming. Your crews are probably the best around anywhere, and we really appreciate them being so enthusiastic about this particular training, which is very near and dear to us. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Ann, and thank you to the Arbor Company for coming out here and let us be a part of this training. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And thank you for joining us. So Ann, tell me a little bit about what led you to finding this and kind of setting up this opportunity here.
One of the things I like to say in my welcome and introduction to the crews as they come through every hour is if they had to teach fire safety in the middle of a burning house to a family or a group of children, how effective do they feel that would be? When people go through something like dementia, it's usually they're going down a road that they've never experienced and they know very little about it. And so it is very similar to that scenario I just said, that families are actually having to learn, react, interact, and make life-changing decisions with very little information. I, too, actually went through dementia with my mother 4 years ago, and it was a journey that was totally mind-boggling to me because it's an area that I had no information on. So as a part of the Arbor Company, and one of the things that we like to do and share is to educate the communities that we live in ourselves. And so the Arbor Company has taken this education piece out and sharing it with anybody in the community that we can and have the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, we've talked about it on the Senior Living Live show before that, you know, senior living in general, but especially dementia, is not something that people have experience with because it happens at such a later stage in life, and you haven't, I mean, everything else you do in life, you just learn as you go, right? And you continue to build upon that knowledge, and this is just something that, unless you happen to have another, you know, older family member from maybe 10, 20 years ago who's experienced it, most people just have to go through it once. And so that's why we have experiences like this.
Absolutely. You know, this is one of the fastest growing diseases in our country. And with our population that is aging exponentially, this is a topic that not only people who are seniors, but also adult children, and even my own children myself, who range in ages from elementary school all the way to college, are getting an education in dementia as well, because it has touched their lives, and it will continue to touch all our lives as we age as a country.
It absolutely, and you know, that's something that we hear a lot, is that it does touch people. I mean, it's people experience this differently. And I see Laura Ellen is walking up over here. So Laura Ellen Christian from the Arbor Company, just come on up and join us here. So Laura Ellen tell us who you are. What do you do at the Arbor Company?
Yeah, I'm Laura Ellen, work with the Arbor Company. I'm the Senior Vice President of Engagement and Dementia Training. So, yeah.
And here we are at dementia training, so that works out. So, we've heard from the chief, we've heard from Ann kind of like the why behind this, but tell us what happens in dementia training or a dementia experience like this.
Yeah, so this is called Dementia Live, and these first responders are joining us. We gear them up, so we put them through a list of...
We're getting stage directions here.
Sorry, okay.
Are we in a good spot?
Okay,
good.
Sorry about that. So when the first responders show up, we get them geared up. So we have a set of components, glasses, gloves, headphones that they put on, and all of that is meant to alter their sensory experience and simulate what it might be like to live with dementia. So once they've got that gear on, we bring them to the experience room, and there's an observer there that stays with them and reads them a list of tasks. So they've got 5 tasks that they have to complete, and they're given those tasks with all of these components on. So some people hear the tasks, some people don't, but regardless, they go in the room and they have to try to complete what they can. And that's about 7 minutes.
And it's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard to complete those things.
It really is hard because you've got those gloves on. It alters your fine motor. You've got the noise that's kind of confusing you. You're not able to focus. You've got the glasses, which is affecting your vision. So even for these guys, the first responders who are used to maybe some of their senses being altered in their everyday
Running
of what
into
they're doing.
burning houses or what have
That's
you.
right. These simple tasks, such as, button a few buttons on a shirt, become really, really difficult.
Yeah, I know I participated in a Dementia Live experience maybe a couple of months ago, and I forget, one of the tasks that I had was like sorting silverware on a table.
Yep.
And it's like the little tray that you put in your drawer, and there's forks
That's right.
and knives and
Yeah.
everything. And so I know that I was told to do that when I walked in, and I've got these headphones on, and the sound is happening, and you've got these gloves on, your dexterity is missing, and I just gave up. And it wasn't like I gave up because I thought it was silly or stupid or because I just got tired of doing it or whatever, but it was exhausting.
Yes.
And that all of this stuff, all of these sensory items are sort of coming at you, that it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I think that's one reason, is just like your brain is just tired
That's
as you
right.
go through that, and this simulates that really well.
That's right. That's right. And so after people go through the experience, it's not over, right? So we're hoping that this experience can kind of empower people to want to learn more and want to figure out what we can do to help if we're engaging with someone living with dementia. So that's what they do. They go through an education session, about 30 minutes, and we give them some tips and some education so that they can go and be empowered to help when they're out and about. And just like you said, one thing that we teach in the education session or talk about is just the simplicity of giving positive reinforcement. So if you think about if you were in the experience room and you wanted to give up, if somebody would have said, okay, Chris, you're doing great, keep going, there's one fork, just put it right there. So just those simple things.
Instead of raising your voice or talking louder or whatever. I think a lot of times we think people are hard of hearing when they're it's cognitive decline.
Yeah, they're
right?
not able to understand. Yeah, that's right.
So a lot of people have a senior loved one in their lives who maybe has dementia, and they don't live in a environment like a community, a senior living community that's geared toward dementia. So what are some of the things that they can do to kind of cope with? I know every situation is different, and where do people turn?
Yeah, I think, obviously we're a great resource, and we give these first responders and have these tip guides, which give some great tips. But I think advice that I would give is engaging with your loved one still. So, we're really trying to reduce that stigma, eliminate the stigma around dementia. Just because someone has dementia doesn't mean that all of a sudden they can't function, that they're not a functioning adult, or they can't do things still. So they just need a little bit of adapting. So try to figure out what are those things that you can adapt so your loved one can continue to feel productive and like they have a meaningful life, because they still can. So, even though they can't, maybe mow the lawn anymore, right? Because that may not be safe, but they can help with some of the yard work, right? Still picking up the sticks or things like that. So you don't have to completely take away things because it's not safe. You can just figure out how to adapt it a little bit.
Yeah, that adapt thing I think is so important, and I think that's important with an experience like this because it's not all doom and gloom. And part of the training or the experience is experiencing it, just so that you can have that aha moment of here's what someone might be going through. But then there's the debrief afterward, where people are able to start thinking about next steps and figuring out what that means for them, like adapting or changing things. Something I've heard you say before, Laura Ellen, is that who a person is doesn't go away, right? So we talk about dementia and Alzheimer's and people being forgetful. I mean, we even call it memory care typically in our communities, but it's not just dementia, or it's not just memory loss,
That's right? Yes. Yeah, so dementia, there are over 70 different types of dementia first, but dementia, it affects a lot of parts of the brain. So not just memory. We often say if memory was it, then this would be a little bit easier for people to live with, or people to help people that may be living with dementia. But there are a lot of different areas, such as impulse control. That changes a lot. The ability to kind of think through a situation sequence, the ability to kind of, pay attention and be able to focus on a task and completing things. So a lot of other things that go into it other than just memory. Yeah.
Well, so we talked a little bit about resources of coming to, finding an experience like this, talking to a company. I mean, the Arbor Company, we're just one of many senior living providers. Any senior living provider that has some type of dementia care or memory care component, they're going to have education resources for you. We have our blog at arborcompany.com. You can click on resources. We've got a blog there with tons of dementia and Alzheimer's related resources, as well as videos. And then, of course, we've got Senior Living Live, which you're watching right here. You can find more from Senior Living Live at seniorlivinglive.com. And I think we'll probably have more videos that we'll be posting up on the blog at some point after our weeks-long training is done. So remind me how many people are coming to this training this week?
Yeah, so this training is Monday through Friday, so we're on our third day, and we're putting around 120 people through a day. So we've got groups of 15 or 20 coming on the hour, every hour from 8 to 4.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
It's just so great to be able to provide this and to further enhance the training that our EMTs get, because they don't get dementia training necessarily when they're going to school for this.
That's right. We were able to get some CEUs for them, so it's been a great event. About 600 people total will have experienced this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, until next time.
That's right.
So thanks so much for joining us today at Senior Living Live. Again, you can catch this episode and others at seniorlivinglive.com. I hope you'll share this with someone who you think could find value in this video and any dementia-related resources. And of course, look at us up at arborcompany.com, where you can find some additional dementia resources. But with that, we will see you next time. Bye-bye.